Yo, guys, we're here. Then and Now podcast, a live stream. Diablo 4.
What's good?
You're,
Good.
yeah.
Yeah, this is good.
You want to give the audience a little knowledge on what the season has to offer? Did I say Ethan or Otis? No, that's that question.
I think you said Otis, right?
Yeah, did you hear me?
I didn't hear the question.
Oh, I was like, what does this season have to offer?
Yeah, I'm still figuring that out. So there's a big change in how the jewels work. They're like these malignant crests now that you slot into your jewel sockets, and they all have different effects based off whatever color they are and whatever level they're on. Also, the degree of difficulty is a little bit harder. The enemies are a little bit more aggressive than they were on like the certain levels. Like if you're tier 2, they're gonna press you almost as much as they would on tier 3. So being prepared to deal with a lot more aggressive enemies. I haven't seen all of the rewards that come from the seasonal stuff, but there's going to be a plethora of them as you progress through your seasonal levels. So there's a lot coming that I haven't seen myself yet, but it's looking like another season of grinding if you're up for it.
Gotcha. I'm trying to see if I want to rock the druid again, or if I want to switch up and use the barbarian this time.
The barbarian's fun, man. I've started up this game 4 different times. I played with different people. I played it as one's barbarian, one's necromancer, and then this one is my mage build, or I guess sword. They call them sword, right? Sorcerer build. So, but each character obviously plays differently, but they're all fun experiences. Since everyone loves using the rogue, and I know that's Otis's main go-to class, I haven't used that one yet. But I've seen the druid use. It's awesome seeing it transferring into creatures and stuff like that. So,
we're gonna rock it out in traditional with the white eyes. That's been a trend I've started doing in games recently. When I'm creating people, I'm just giving them the white eyes and the white hair for whatever reason. Don't know
Korean
why.
characters?
No, when I'm creating, I can like a created.
Oh, creating! Oh, my bad. I thought you said Korean. Korean.
Korean characters. Okay.
Nice.
We've all seen all kinds of anime that has like characters that have like full blown like blue eyes and blonde hair. That's the.
Let me see what I want to rock with. I ain't trying to rock the Otis. Do we want to go?
The character customization isn't like as overwhelmingly elaborate as something like the. I know we love giving FromSoft a hard time, but I'd say that's still deeper than this game is.
Yeah.
But the graphics on the characters are there. I think the best, though, in my opinion, and Otis, you can disagree if you want, I would say Neo 2 is probably the best.
Oh no, Neo 2 has probably one of the best character creators I've seen in a long time. The level of details you can go to, like, so I guess that's the Phantom dreads that you talk about. My Neo character did have dreads, so there you go.
Oh yeah, he does. Possibly. Yeah, he's got that. Yeah.
I still got.
But he had 2 silver dreads, and the rest of them were black. Like, yep, that's how much details you can get to with telling your characters, like all the way down to highlighted streets
at some point. I've seen, because I think I have it as a free to play game or not a free to play game. But I think Ethan may have it, so I probably can pick it up and give it a try.
Yeah, I know for sure E's got it. So if you guys,
I bought it. Yeah, so you can download it for me. I played it. I beat that game like 4 times. I beat it one time. I think with Otis. I tried to. Yeah, played it a bunch.
We made it to the level where I have to go play solo, and I don't even have a reason necessarily. I just never ended up playing that last mission. I have no idea if I'm good enough to beat it or not. I gotta do better.
It's been so long.
You gonna name him OG Big Blur? That's what we gonna do.
So what build are you doing now, Deb? Are you doing the druid?
Barbarian.
He's doing barbarian.
Oh, you're doing barbarian.
Yeah, because I had a druid for the start first time.
Yeah, what's a good name for barbarian then?
Dave,
Dave.
you remember Dave the Barbarian?
Oh,
Dave the
that's
barbarian.
Dave the Barbarian. That's hilarious. You know what? Why not? Let's do it. Let's do it. Did you ever watch that cartoon?
Uh,
I watched-
no,
no.
I just named it for the sake of the show.
We have to do seasonal run, right, for the season? I'm guessing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
seasonal.
season.
Yeah, okay. And then we'll go World Tier 2. Because I have a little bit more idea what I'm doing now. All right,
No,
Dave the Barbarian is in the game. We are in.
yeah, no.
We in
Yeah. I think we're all doing the same thing as far as like going through the the prologue stuff by ourselves first to get that back out, and then we can join it together.
Mm-hmm.
No, I didn't have to do the prologue stuff because I beat the game beforehand.
But so because you did that, you're able to use your the seasonal contents accessible.
Yeah. I had to make a new character, but I didn't have to go through the story again. You guys got to do it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
prologue. Oh, if I'd have known that, I would have did this earlier today. I was sitting at the crib, just not doing nothing.
But you had to beat the game then. If that was the case, you had to beat from scratch. So that's
Oh, to beat the game? Oh, okay.
Yeah, you had to beat the game. What level is your main character, Dev?
You said what?
What level is your main character?
22, I think.
Oh yeah, you got a ways to go.
Yeah. I took a mean break because Final Fantasy had came out like when this was
right.
out.
Which I still
What is going on this year?
I have not played it yet.
And I still got to finish that game. Oh my god, that story is fire.
It's all about the story. I know, Otis, you are a Final Fantasy fan, right? You play them.
Yeah,
most part,
I've been waiting for that game specifically. I just haven't gotten a chance to play it yet.
But here's the thing. In all fairness, though, it's like this year is just beating us up. There's so many good games. It's like, how can we? I mean, complain. Obviously, first world problems, extremely first world problems. But it's just like there's all kinds of really good games in the same year dropping up around the same time. You can't keep up with all of them.
So many good games, so little time.
Right?
All right. I still gotta finish the games I have. So I'm gonna. That's why I want a vacation, like a break sometime soon, so I can just like go ham and beat all the games I have like halfway done.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm gonna start with having like 2 other games I had started and not beat yet.
I mean, I did all I did today was play the games. So.
And I gotta do it before 2K come out because you already know how that's gonna go.
Yeah.
Could you protect us?
It's crossplay now, so it's a different world. It's a different world.
If we got Ethan to play it or get into it, then we have a permanent 5.
I've got several people on Xbox to play with. So
I mean, I play 2K for a group thing. I play all kinds of games for fun group fun. No problem with that.
Yeah, join us.
Hell yeah, my boy. That'd be sick.
Just know the 2K grind is real.
Yeah. Plus, I think you know the general concept of like basketball and like how to play it, so we can show you like stuff you may not know, like zones or coverages. And...
So, basketball is a game where the ball goes through the goal post and the.
It's with the bat and the hockey stick.
With the bat. Yeah, with the bat.
The apple basket.
That's right.
Yeah, remember that game they was playing in Road to El Dorado? It's that one.
Oh yeah, it's like the hoops on the side, the hoops sideways. By the way, mad love for referencing El Dorado. That's well done, sir. That's a hidden gem most people don't know about.
Well, I thought wasn't that game the predecessor to the football though? Or the actual football, not like American football?
Oh, you mean yeah? I think it may have been an influence. Yeah, was it Mayan culture? Yeah, I think it was.
I don't know how accurate it is, but I know when I learned in one of my history classes in college that like they initially played that game with like heads, like they would like do the blood sacrifices and decapitate people and like kick their heads.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I heard the same actually.
Yeah, bro. Mayans play no games, boy.
Man, Mayans are serious, boy. They're serious. one thing I got to do too, I believe, to the best of my knowledge, and again, correct me, Otis, if I'm wrong, or in the comments, I believe that's the only animated movie that has the voice of Rosa Perez in it.
Is Rosie Perez anything else? Am I?
Rosie Perez is the like the main female
No, I'm
character.
talking about is a voice actor.
I mean, I know it's her voice in that movie. I don't know if she's like does a lot of voice acting. But I like that also the character she is playing in the El Dorado is by far maybe the curviest apple bottom character ever made.
Then bro, what is it with them in Pixar? Pixar, I'm convinced
It's
somebody.
not Pixar.
I know it's not Pixar, but I'm like, I don't know what studio that was. Was that Disney?
So yeah, I think it's DreamWorks that did El Dorado. But Pixar does it. Pixar makes it. What's his face? Not Mrs. Incredible. Elastigirl, right? That's apple bottom right there too.
That's a watermelon bottom. What do you mean, boy?
Yeah.
That is.
That's a full watermelon. Yeah.
Did DreamWorks do Lilo and Stitch as well? Or is it Disney?
Pixar what?
Lilo and Stitch.
No, that's just old school Disney.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pixar is usually 3D animation.
Yeah, but I know you're talking about Lilo's mom. Oh, sorry, Lilo's sister. What's her name? Nani? Yeah, Nani's definitely apple bottom as well. I'll give you that. Definitely apple bottom.
Boy, let me tell you about it. Boy, people talk about like that whole like the gay agenda being pushed to like me today, and I'm like, bro, did you not see the cartoons I saw growing up where they had like the thickest women walking around doing the most like the biggest sexual innuendos possible in cartoons, and I'm watching this as a child. I'm like, bro, this is nuts.
The thing is though, it wasn't like this. If you go back, like as far as like we all have heard of, I think probably old enough to know about Pepe Le Pew. Remember Pepe Le Pew?
Yeah, he's a racist.
Basically, yeah. But that's the point.
Super problematic.
Yeah, they got rid of. He's gone. He's nowhere around anymore at all. But that's the whole point. They used to love having all kinds of sexual content in cartoons back in the day.
Like a Betty Boop. It's like the whole like derivative of Marilyn Monroe. Not Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
Marilyn Monroe. Yeah, I'm thinking about.
Marilyn Monroe. Yeah.
You know, I said Marilyn Monroe and thought Marilyn Manson for a second in my head. I was like, wait, that's not the wrong Marilyn.
Whoa.
Yeah.
No, because he named himself after Marilyn Monroe. He named himself. He took the Marilyn from that. Yeah. But also
her and like being all overtly sexual in that animation.
But she was also a precursor to the goat. I would say the goat of all goats, which is Jessica Rabbit.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that.
Hey. I'm not bad. I'm just drawn this way. I was like, if you don't stop, stop. My mama watching this movie. I need you to calm down. I need you to calm down, man.
That movie was so fantastic. Still fantastic. But she was like, and they had, I know you've all seen those, like the most paused scene in movies. The part where she gets spun out of that cab and she's like laying on the ground and her legs like split briefly. And they used to have it where you can look up her skirt and see like her like her little panties or what have you. They edited it out now so you can't see. Yeah, but yeah, she's if I remember correctly, yeah, like I think it was a purple dress.
That is nuts.
Yeah, but then it wasn't exactly. It was a movie that kids could appreciate because it had.
Yeah. But it was not.
It wasn't really. No, it wasn't a children's movie. Not really.
Do you guys remember when Warner Brothers did like their own version of that with like Looney Tunes?
Yeah, it's back in action or something like that.
Ryan Reynolds, main character of that.
That was Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Fraser.
I had that on DVD, and I remember I used to watch the like.
That was not. It wasn't. That was more kiddie, more kid friendly. Yeah, it wasn't that. Yeah.
Terrible movie.
I don't think I've seen this since I was like 6 or 7, so I have like kid nostalgia. That one.
So yeah, it's a different. Try watching it now.
Yeah,
like,
I can't remember
Roger
anything
Rabbit holds
about
up. Right. The Roger Rabbit's still amazing. Even like I know Space Jam is one of those things too where it's like, oh, this is definitely You watch Space Jam 1 now, so, this doesn't quite hold up nearly as well as what it did back in the day.
Space Jam is actually, I ain't gonna hold you, that's actually a bad movie. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like both of them.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'll just be like, well, I like basketball and people like Mike, so they're watching it.
No, and that's fair. I know people love him, some Mike loves him. I mean, that's fair. I get
Like,
it.
as much as we drag the new legacies, like, I feel like the quality is similar between the two.
It was objectively a better movie if we keep it in the bug. Like the fact they had a resemblance. Well, they had a plot. I'll say the first one had a plot, but like the way it was filmed, LeBron's a better actor than Michael Jordan was.
What?
Yes, Jordan.
Like, I don't know. I don't know.
You can tell LeBron at least took some kind of acting class. Jordan was literally just
talking. He was just talking.
Jordan was not acting.
He was just talking. Yeah, he was just talking. That's true. But I guess the thing is, in some level, I don't want to say LeBron is being a try hard, but it's because he's not.
He wanted to be an actor at one point. Like he wanted to act for real.
Right, but the problem with it is because he is trying so hard, but it still isn't quite good. It stands out that much more because Mike is just being so low. Mike is being a straight man, very much as being a straight man in the world of craziness. His poor acting doesn't stand out. It's like it's just
treatment on purpose. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I think for Mike, they just said like just say these words, bro.
Literally. They did that. Yeah, they were like, "Hey, man, because also y'all know he was like basically he was still like playing basketball and stuff while he was filming. He'd like go and play on the court and then come back.
There's a famous game between him and Grant Hill that happened while they're at the set for that movie.
So he would go off and like be winning championships, and then between games would come and film a couple hours.
That was still at the point where he was still like semi-retired. It was the summer after he came back from that. But like, no, he just called Grant Hill out to the court that he had Warner Brothers built for him, and they had a one-on-one, and Grant Hill bust him the first day, and then Jordan destroyed him the second day.
Damn, that is wild, man. What? Oh yeah, because you're right. Because I think he was actually wasn't he trying to play? Was this is when he was playing baseball for the White Sox, I believe, at the time, or something like that? Because they mentioned it in the movie, I think, right?
He was playing for somebody.
Yeah,
it wasn't White Sox.
Playing baseball or something like that. So it's like, yeah, it was a weird time for that movie, a weird time for Mike on some level too. But the thing is, the movie still made all kinds of money. The thing is, that movie was even more problematic about that movie than the Mike's acting is, of course, somebody on that soundtrack. If you want to mention his name,
that believes he can fly.
Yeah, that believes he can. Woo! That multiple Grammy-winning track. Yeah.
Random last basketball tangent. I'm sorry, Ethan. I won't stay on it too long, but I know there's a relatively big thing in the media recently with Kevin Durant actually like he's saying shit with his whole chest on his actual account now. And he had a big quote happen recently where he adamantly, like with his whole said that he saw offense being more valuable than defense when it came to the sport of basketball. And initially, my number one thought, I'm a defensive first guy. That's how I usually am when it comes to basketball in general. I'm like, ain't no fucking way. That's crazy. But I thought about it, and I talked to one of my homeboys about it in general. I can see the perspective that he was coming from, and I think I actually agree in reference to when you look at who's this? Oh, we got a new Tripstar VPO. What's up, man? Appreciate you for crawling through, man. A new face. We enjoy new faces here at the Dead and No podcast. Appreciate it.
What up, bud?
But yeah, in regards to looking at offense, in regards to when you're looking for a generational talent, like you're more likely to see another Draymond Green than you are to see another Kevin Durant in regards to that level of scoring ability. You can point to a lot of different all-time defenders in the NBA, but you just like very minute few of like offensive talents to the level of a Kevin Durant in like the retrospect, the grand scheme of like the entire league and how many players have come through, because those kind of players don't come through that often. So it's just in the innate value of like this thing being less common, it's more valuable. If that's the perspective he came from, because I doubt he meant like you can just have all offense and no defense and still win a ring. I doubt that's the way he came at it from. I think that's how people phrased it, because it's KD and people want to like hate that man with a burning passion.
I have absolutely no comments. I barely know what basketball is, but I'm sure this thing.
I mean, I just don't think that either statement by itself is valid. You know, you don't win basketball games with just offense or defense.
Right.
Thank the light.
But sure, that was just a quick thought on that, because I can't get into that like hella. This isn't the show for it. This isn't the show for it. This isn't the show for it.
Yeah, there's no wrong thoughts. If that makes sense, I don't make sense at all. So yeah, it's a free space to voice whatever you think. Yeah.
I do know what I wanted to get into, because I know me and Otis had like a brief conversation about this earlier today on the Superman post in regards to. I feel like that the evil Superman trope is going to get old relatively soon, and granted, like I think we both came to an agreement. Like him as a character gets milked overly in general, but this trope of the evil Superman that is going to get old relatively fast. Not saying that we don't have too many bad versions of it, but there's so many different mediums, even within DC with like the Red Sun and like Injustice and the Ultraman stuff, where there's a bunch of evil versions of Superman and he's like the main antagonist. I think people are gonna get tired of that relatively soon.
Yeah, that's a fair point. The thing about it is it was something that was kind of obviously highlighted on a broad spectrum on Man of Steel, the movie, where it's like, if you had that much power, people would 110% fear you. It was one of those things before back in the day when Superman first showed up in that Richard Donner movie. It was, oh my gosh, there's a different time where they say, oh my gosh, you're stable. We love you. You're not suspicious at all. Nothing seems sus. Yay, let's go. Now it's very much like, yo, absolute power corrupts absolutely. It seems like unlikely that there would be a person with that much power that wouldn't be somewhat evil. So it's kind of like they had to almost address the elephant in the room by making him a bad guy over and over again. So yeah, I feel it.
And I feel like you can, like, so I agree with you in that extent, but I think you can write that in a great way. And the prime example of that in Marvel being somebody like Blue Marvel, right? Where he has the power of a literal god, but he sees the greater good of the world and humanity versus the politics of being a ruler or whatever else. That's like the way he is.
100%. That's the whole point of superheroes, is that they are supposed to be better than us. They are supposed to be more righteous. They're supposed to be more, good-hearted or what have you. Yeah, that's the whole basis of it.
But I think the mistake, well, not the mistake, but I think the thing that comes in as far as the challenge is making it believable and relatable. It's like you have to make him have this sense of altruism, but make sense of why he would think this way. And I think with a character like that, where you're growing up in the civil rights movement and you've seen all kinds of oppression and unequalness when it comes to society, that you would be more altruistic and wanting to see things 100% equal and want love everywhere and want peace everywhere. So with from that standpoint,
that's what you see right there. You're saying that because I know we saw before in our previous comments, someone mentioned that they wanted to see there's a white dude who watched our videos that said that they wanted to see a black Superman with that same dynamic, essentially, right? And you just kind of, you obviously touched on that just now, that it is an interesting idea. Like, what would that happen if there was an oppressed, super oppressed race or person who's been through all kinds of, horrible situations that we were doing, the racism and classism and everything like that, and that person was given power? Would that person say, yo, I know what it's like to have to go through that scenario, therefore I'm going to do everything I can to help those like me or those who are in bad situations? Or would they say, you know what, I'm going to go full Tetsuo from Akira. Now that I have the power, it's my time to do what I want to do.
I think it's a MLK versus Malcolm X mentality, because from real life we know that people that with influence and power can be altruistic and want that level of peace. Right. But then we also know you're probably a lot more likely to see people on the flip side of just wanting to get their get back. but you do have people with the ability to do the latter of the two, or the former of the two.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. I think what it also boils down to is because that new Superman show, the adventure, My Adventure of Superman, what that show is doing is even though it's like it's a kids cartoon, I get you, but it's like it is trying to make him a more relatable character, not just a uber powered uber mensch, but actual character, all out character, more rounded character. And if you can do that, regardless of how much power they have, we're that much more likely to go with them as far as you see how they use it. Like Goku, who's always compared to Superman, is a more believable character. He's very flawed. He's dumb. He genuinely damns the world multiple times with his stupidity. And it's a very, in lots of ways, it's kind of we can understand where Goku's coming from, and he's a character that makes sense on some level. But having Superman, where he seems super nice and is just super good looking and is super powerful and is just unflawed, when he's done poorly, when he's basically one dimensional, it really come across the wrong way. And so sometimes they'll try to overcorrect and make him evil, and that's not the right thing to do either. I would say fall in the middle, become an actual character in general. That's what it is.
Right, and I feel like the evil Superman. It's not that it's an easy way out, but I think it's significantly easier to write a character that is just corrupted by that power, because again, it's the most likely scenario. And not to say that it's like the other side is better. I think it's a little bit easier to do, which is why it's so much. You see a lot more examples of it, as of at least recently in media. Like it's really hard to make an all-powerful character and make them altruistic, or make them why would they not use this power for evil? Why would they want to help people genuinely and not just be corrupted at the first sign of tragedy in their life with this kind of godlike power?
Right. No, absolutely.
I think, you can write a nuanced story within him being quote unquote evil too, because good and bad is all about perspective. What's good to one group might be the devil to the next. So point. I would more so play around with maybe by conventional means he's seen as doing bad things, but he's fighting for the people that he believes to be doing the good thing, kind of like the Aaron Yeager approach almost. He was a hero to people he cares for.
Which I agree. I think you can make the story nuanced, but I think it's a lot easier to make that character because they're just more relatable characters. I think that one of the main reasons why we talk about you're gonna see more. I feel like you see more villains in stories that are the driving force because you relate to them more. You understand why they are more, and it's not as believable to have this altruistic person with this godlike ability. So if you can write that character and make that make sense and make that well, I just see that as it was just not that it's better inherently, it's just a bigger challenge.
I feel like the purpose of building the character is to make them relatable. So if you have a thing that makes them more relatable, make them relatable.
Right. No, actually, that's a good point you made, Otis, as far as Aaron Yeager with perspective. Yeah, one person's monster is another person's freedom fighter or what have you. Yeah, that's a really good point. Really, really good point. I think that's awesome. Aaron Yeager. But like you say, both of y'all are saying that actually, if you can write the story, make that character's motivation clear. Obviously, even with Spider-Man, right, the whole basis for him doing what he does. It's not just the whole with great power comes responsibility. It was guilt. Literally, it was guilt that made Spider-Man, start being a hero originally, because he felt guilty that he didn't save his uncle Ben. If he had done what he was supposed to do back then, he would still be alive. So guilt motivated him to start doing the right thing. With Miles Morales, it was basically based off the movies. It was a promise. He made a promise to Spider-Man to do something, and he felt compelled to hold to that promise. So it's having some kind of motivation. With Superman, originally in the storylines, there was never a motivation. It's pretty much just he was raised, well, and he's a good guy, and he has all this power, and he just kind of just decided to use it for good just because he's a good guy. There really was never an actual motivation behind it. Even Batman, of course, has motivation for what he does. So it's kind of like if they gave him an actual clear-cut motivation of some kind, that would help, I think.
So keep in mind with Spider-Man, initially after that death with Uncle Ben, he was like on the villain path. Like he was going to get revenge. And I mean,
right.
It was the guilt that made him do it. But I think it was more so like him coming to terms and like taking responsibility for his actions. That like made him turn to be Spider-Man, so he was responsible with his abilities. Because I think that Death Uncle Ben turned him to want to get revenge in that scenario right there.
It was the immediate reaction, but it was a driver for why he wanted to protect people going forward. He didn't want to have anyone experience what he did, essentially.
Yeah, but I don't think it was out of guilt though. I think he did that out of altruism and out of the want to follow his grandfather, not his grandfather, his uncle's teachings and what he preached. Because the great power, great responsibility thing happened before he even died. Like that's something he was preaching. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't see that as that being guilt being the driving force behind him wanting to be Spider-Man.
I think it's a little bit of both. It's his first footsteps. I mean, you mentioned obviously him going after. It was revenge. It was revenge that motivated him to do what he's doing, and that's true. I think it's kind of. And if I think there was some. Let's be honest. If that happened to you or me, right? Let's say that I had all this power to do something, and I didn't do something, and all of a sudden Otis got killed.
Mm-hmm.
And Felicia was like, "Oh my gosh, Otis is dead. I feel so. My baby is gone. All this kind of stuff." I would definitely want revenge, but being out there, I'd also be like, my boy is dead because of me, because I didn't do the right thing. There'd be some guilt there motivating me on some level. It's just human nature. I think it could be both. It could be also revenge that got you going, but also on some level, it was like, yeah, I need to. Bad things happen, but I don't step up and do that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not mad at that either. I understand that perspective on it. That being said, how would you go? So we briefly talked about Superman and like the motivations in past history as far as him being an altruistic god-like character. How would you go about writing him as an altruistic person where he's not just a villain? How would you make that make sense and why he wouldn't just be corrupted and seek to take over the planet with that godlike ability while also having like human emotions? Because I think that's the thing that kills it. Like with him is like he's a godlike in power, but he has human-like emotions and motivations and drives. So you are going to be just as susceptible to greed, to lust, to whatever else that human beings have that makes us human.
I mean, I would let him spend time in a place with marginalized people and see horrible things happen to those people, and say like, well, they can't protect themselves, so I'll do it.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think that's my point. To play up that point, I think that's the way to go, because we talked about that like twice now as far as with like Blue Marvel, where you have a character like that, at least for them to be altruistic, they have to be around people that go through struggle and go through strife, so they know like the ugliness of human society, so they don't want that to happen to other people. Because I find it really difficult to like that's the thing about Superman that's hard to believe is like you have this dude that grows up in a small country town where, again, for you guys that aren't in the South, well, I think Ethan gets it because he's from the South. Southern hospitality is a very much so real thing, and at least in most instances, like you have a lot of like nicer older people where he's around. He's more likely to be around a lot of kind-hearted people growing up in Smallville, Kansas, than he is to be anywhere else, like to be in like the inner city where like wild shit may go on. So like I find it very hard to believe like you grow up in this nice country life where you're around kind people and you're not corrupted when you see the ugliness of the world when you go out there, versus him growing up in a, which I mean I guess you can kind of say that shock value and that shock and awe and cultural difference is the reason for that, or like the reason why he wants, like he kind of almost has that delusional sense with Batman where like he's seen what he thinks is a perfect society, so he wants to like replicate that in peace. I don't know, I'm gonna
No. I feel you. I feel what you're saying though. As far as it seems, again, it is a weird. And it's something I hadn't thought about it nearly enough, to be honest with y'all, as far as just how weird and unbelievable it is on some fundamental level that this dude would just decide, you know what, I'll do all this extremely nice stuff for all these complete strangers. And it never really does seem completely. It seems so out of left field. Like, why is he doing this stuff?
Right.
It's almost oafish.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I just yay, save people.
It's just like hopeless optimism, and even me as an optimist,
they need naivete. Yeah.
Which, granted, like even me, like we've talked about us what we would do with like crazy powers or whatever else. Even me, I would do something for myself. Like I'd probably like disappear with some money out of a bank or something like that. Like it's something that's gonna hurt other people per se, but it's something that's gonna benefit me. Like, I'm gonna do something to benefit me if I had that kind of godlike power. I wouldn't take over the world on some Lulu shit like Otis, but I definitely would do some shit for myself at some point and be selfish with it because I'm a human being.
Right. Yeah.
So the fact he's just like, I'm not doing anything selfish with my powers for myself, it's kind of nuts to me.
It does, and that's the problem. It seems like unbelievable. They didn't really originally back in the day in the late 30s when the Schuster brothers, made Superman. They weren't really as concerned with that. It was just the idea was just let's make a essentially a god amongst us that can do things, a hero for us that we like. Perfect. There you go. And now years later, of course, like wait a minute, all this stuff doesn't really track as much. With for example, the Marvel universe, I know how much you hate Cap. I know how much you hate Cap, but they have the idea that he did grow up very, very poor. He did see a lot. He was bullied his whole life, and he saw bullies picking on the world essentially. And so his motivation is he doesn't like the idea of somebody picking on the smaller guy. So once he becomes the bigger guy, he still always sees everyone else as potentially being picked on by a bad guy. So that's his motivation, is to keep them being picked on.
You said what?
Accept my invite so I can come help you, brother.
Oh yeah, all right. Can I just send you an invite now? I thought I had to go through
that thing on your screen, hold to the left, and I'll
oh shit. I was locked in. I was not even seeing that. I didn't even see that. I was like locked in, trying not to die and fight these ghouls. I didn't see that shit. Here, I could probably send you join too.
Yeah, you can send me an invite too.
Yeah, let me finish.
It's just kind of a strange game. What do you think of that? Did you get a strange game?
But I think that's part of the thing with Cap that like I feel like I don't see enough of with his story as far as that idea of beating up or like being against a bully. You see it to some extent with something like Civil War, which I think is why it was so good, but America in itself has been the bully for majority of history. And even the way he goes about doing things. And the fact
like most of his stories is him rebelling against the American way.
Is it? When?
Yeah.
Where? What issues is this?
All of them. Like he gets to like when he's unfrozen and like all his gripes with how America is, and like he says the things he's fighting against are just here. Civil War is him literally rebelling against the government there. Him trying to save Bucky is him rebelling and trying to go on his own against fight against something that he thinks is right. Like that's his MO.
Yeah. Exactly.
Whenever I see him, because 9 times out of 10, whenever I've seen him, he's working for government agencies like SHIELD.
He has all the gripes against you.
Yeah, he's
like how they run.
And that's my thing. I'm like, you have all these, like, you have this, but you're still doing it, is my thing. Like,
he rebelled against him. He leaves SHIELD. That's the whole point. He actually walks away from SHIELD. He's like, you guys are not my kind of people. I'm out. I'm done.
That's the majority of the time, whenever you see him in media, he's working for some sort of government organization. Usually it's SHIELD. He's working for America. Even in like the character, like, even back during World War II, during that era, like maybe there's probably an issue that's newer that I missed out, but you would think that like with something like the nuke with Hiroshima, that he would have thoughts about that, or like not wanting that to go down, as far as them just committing genocide on that level during the war.
But
like, it felt like he was willing to be the bully during World War II. Whenever the propaganda.
That's the Nazis, though, man. He's fighting Nazis, and also no one knew what the atomic bomb was going to do until it did it.
Yeah, he's fighting Nazis,
He's
but
fighting
he's also
Nazis?
committing war crimes in other countries, though. Like,
What war crimes? What war crimes is he committing?
Buddy's literally going through, like, in war, he's going through these towns and murdering these people, murdering these troops, and there's a lot of collateral fucking damage in the cities where he's in.
I mean, the majority of the missions that he was taking were rescue missions to save their troops that got captured. Like that's what he like chose to do more often than not.
Right.
Repeat
You gotta
that
have
one
some evidence to back up your claims, but
more? No, what do you say?
No, I was just saying that like the majority of the missions that he chose to go after were like rescue missions, freeing captured troops from
POWs.
From
Yeah, it's Captain POWs. Wait, real quick, Brody, can you send me the invite again? Because I'm in here now. I don't see y'all.
Give me one sec.
If you go to your social tab and go to see Diesel, you can request to join his party, or you can do that to me also because we're in the same party. And we can just straight through that way.
Let's see here. Let's see. Where aren't y'all on here? I don't even see y'all on here. And one of the friends I have,
actually.
I'm missing another invite.
yeah, I'm not sure why I even see y'all on my.
Send him an invite once.
No, you show the invite now. Yep,
There we go.
Yeah. I think it comes down to the media I've seen him, like the animated series I watched growing up, and the movies and things that I've seen him in. He was very much so the Patriot and stuff, rather than like the Ultimate Alliance to an extent, the Ultimate Avengers animated movies, the Avengers animated series, the multiple ones I've seen him in. That was his character.
But was he ever committing war crimes? You mentioned war crimes. What crimes was he committing?
That was me being hyperbolic. So I'm capping on that one as far as the war crimes go. Which, granted, honestly, that'd be something I would love to see him in, as far as like him coming out either during that time or in modern society when he's out. Because when you like has he had to do with like child soldiers? Like I think that's something like it would be dope to see Cap have to do with that moral dilemma of that being thing. Like you have to fight these children that aren't involved, but they're also involved at the same time.
I mean, the child soldiers weren't really being used in World War II, to my knowledge. I know they were trying to make sure they had the strongest men in their army to purify it and all that.
Were they using them? Were they using them to the same extent that they were using like Sierra Leone, though? Were they like really on the front lines like that?
No, I'm saying they didn't. They didn't.
It was a mom.
Yeah,
RUF used them later on.
Yeah, that's my thing. That's something I like. I feel like I'd like to see that with the character, because granted, during that moment in time with World War II, it's a lot easier to unify under the big threat of the Nazis. But something like the Cold War, like stuff like after that, because he wasn't around for a lot of the controversial military things that America did, like the Bay of Pigs and shit like that. I would have loved to see him around for stuff like that.
But there's controversial stuff going on now too. But you want to see like?
Yeah,
in case you don't know, America's not that well beloved in other nations for the most part.
Because we've done a lot of shit, which you've seen him do with it to an extent, with like the way he perceives characters like the Black Widow or like Hawkeye, where they were doing that. But I would have loved to see Cap like around during those eras of military history where it's like, all right, you had the sparkle of World War II to where everything was great, and you had one common enemy that's gone now. Now the country that you're like rocking for, that you promote even with your costume and your shield alone, now they're doing wild shit like assassinating certain people, putting people in power, doing things for the sake of for economic power and wealth and things of that nature, like oil. I don't know. I thought that would have added another layer to that character that I would have really enjoyed to see him deal with that more dilemma and how he deals with it.
Yeah.
And you have it to an extent with something like Civil War, but that's more focused on like Shield versus like America as a whole, or even just like his perception of like the American people and how we are now.
It was the country of America that was trying to do the mutant registration act. It wasn't just you.
Yeah, but I don't think as far as I remember, he didn't have like he had a thought on Tony and Shield and how they went about things, but I didn't think he like damned or like looked at the American people differently. He more so looked at it like as a governmental thing versus like the society.
He basically is saying like America cannot be trusted with this information. I'm not gonna give it to
Yeah,
you. I'm not gonna force other people to do it.
yeah.
Yeah, you know they can be trusted, but someone like who's a better example? I'm trying to think of.
Here's let's cut to the real chase here. It sounds like you want to see a character addressing some issues you might have with just American military. Is that
That character to me is kind of similar, is in a similar vein to Superman, where a lot of his stories are very similar in how they go about things. And it's like I think there's another level of depth with that character that can be reached that has never been reached yet. When it comes to like just his main concept of him being Captain America.
But I disagree though. Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, I'm not mad at it. Either way. I'm not mad at it. But I just think there's more there that they haven't dove into.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because like even give me like a solo
of,
Captain America run that was like transcendent, that you really thought did him very well. That wasn't a group thing where you had to involve a million other characters, like a Captain America run.
I mean, I'm not gonna argue and say like his solo stories are very in depth. Like they really use him as primarily the leader of the Avengers. Like that's his thing. Like his solo stuff is
very
kind of boring. It's very shallow.
Yeah, the way they made him in the movies is better than he's been in the comics. A lot better than he's been in the comics. Yeah. Because if you think about both those characters, anything that the character is meant to be, because oftentimes Captain America in the comics back in the day was more lawful good, and that's kind of how Superman is typically portrayed to as lawful good. When you have a lawful good character, they are pretty much just going to follow orders and always side with whatever their government or organization is. But because in modern times people recognize that there's so much corruption with the government or what have you, it's like that character doesn't really hold water anymore. So you have to be, if you're trying to have a hero, the hero's going to have to go against the government they're working for.
And part of that for me comes from the fact that like I grew up in a military town, and so I've met and interacted with vets that have been in for like 30 years, and a lot of them talk about like initially like some of them went in for like the sense of patriotism and things of that nature, but when you see like how racist the military can be in general and all the different wild things that happen within there.
Where are we going, Charlie? I'm following you.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where I'm going on.
Where are you? I'm trying to find y'all are.
If you teleport to like whatever your main thing when you press down on the D-pad is.
Yeah, I
those portals you can jump to us.
Yeah. So I did that before to get to y'all, but then now it's lost y'all again.
No, you're not far. You're right over here.
You're right here. For sure. I don't know. With the military, I think there's more you can do with Cap, and I haven't seen that yet. At least as far as the comics go, and
I mean, the character comic-wise is typically pretty shallow. Like there are just rare moments when he is actively, like doing what he was meant to do, which is like be almost a satire on what the military is.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I understand the flaw, because when you look at like the origins of like characters like him and Superman, those characters were made during war times where they were put up as war propaganda. Like, if I remember right, like Superman was supposed to be like the Jewish savior, like he was made by Jewish writers, and he was supposed to be an ideal and not like an actual like person per se. And Cap
right, that's most superheroes are their ideas. That's the whole basis behind them. Yeah.
Right. So it's tough to have them made as like ideals and then actually put them into character and like give them these personalities and make
them cool. And that's the thing though too. Most of the time the DC characters are meant to be like gods amongst men, so that they're not supposed to have their dilemmas or personal dilemmas or their character isn't as pivotal to them. I mean, think about it. We love Batman, but how realistic is it for a person to have all the money in the world and decide to go out and righteously, altruistically use it to help people? Opposed to just being, rich.
Well, see, with Batman, it makes more sense because he's being altruistic, but he's being altruistic for like a sake of mental health. Like he has a literal obsession with wanting to save everybody, even at the detriment of other people. He's saving people.
Right.
So that makes more sense. Like, and it's like kind of like you said with like the sense of gods and monsters in DC when you have a lot of these heroes. A lot of them have some sort of
You
trauma
probably
of
got some
making
more
that
skills unlocked by now, Charlie.
You said what?
You probably got some more skills unlocked by now to have some more. Like, yeah, it looks like you can jump, bro. Play that.
I'm gonna go ahead and just go. I'm gonna keep teleporting y'all because y'all keep running off. Like everybody can go.
Say that one more time. You said what?
I'm saying you probably got some more skills unlocked by now to fill out your reels because
Probably. Yeah.
you're level 8. You should have some stuff.
I upgraded like 2 abilities. I upgraded like the main 2 abilities, and it's been like ducking and dodging these niggas since then. I'm gonna equip some in a second.
I would say get you at least one ability that like knocks people back so they don't just keep swarming around you like that.
Crowd control. Yeah, crowd control.
Mm-hmm.
Makai. Is it like Makai Piper, the character?
Not necessarily. I was when I made this name, I was thinking of Mikhail Bridges, and it's like, you know what? I'm just gonna leave it. I'm just gonna leave the L off and just call him Makai. That works.
Fair enough. Okay. I asked the question. That's on me.
Mikhail Bridges is nuts.
That was the hard side. I like that character design too.
AoE ability.
Thank you.
Hammer of Ancient.
How many rogues do you? Wait, you got the horse? Oh, because it's New Game Plus. New Game Plus.
Mm-hmm. Like playing this, I really feel like Kirito and SAO because like I know exactly the stuff to go to get my character where I want to be again, and just knowing the process to do it over.
Well, yeah, but I think they may have obviously because this is the new season. They probably have some different stuff as far as getting the malignants and getting those kind of because you don't know how the malignant system works. Basically, you're able to like basically get super summons to work with you and things. And I imagine that'd be a different location. They're trying to make it so that people who have played the game before have incentivized to play it again. You know, where is Charlie? I was following you in the course.
I'm working my way down the hill.
Yeah, I just been sprinting towards the objective to run through the story.
What I wish the game had was like if somebody marked something on their map, it would show up on everybody else's map too.
Right.
Yeah, it does.
No, I mean mark it then.
No, it doesn't. I don't see where
which tracks. I can enter pin location. Let's do that.
I have no idea. Oh, this run off on his horse. I have no idea where y'all are yet. I keep getting lost.
Can you see that pin I put on the map at all?
No. I've been myself. I had to teleport back to the main base again and teleport to y'all again.
I mean, if you look at the map, you can see. I can see the like this blue mark that you put over on in the fractured peaks. Like it's there.
Let me see where it is. Let me see. All right, see where he is in the map. I don't see. That's
northwest of him.
Yeah. Dave's pin. I see that. Okay, Dave's pin. I wish they actually it's just a whole little track, little line where you're going. It'd be nice if you're in a group. Somebody does that. All you'll see the same track, but it doesn't do that well.
All right. Nope, you got to mark his pin too. So get the hooks on. Figure it out.
Yeah, there we go. Still good game. Still a good game. It's just
Good game.
what's it like?
No, I've got my gripes with this game. It's just a grind that I'm okay with doing. It's not like every game is just super grindy now. Like this is a grind that I don't mind because it just kill things in it.
Yeah. Hey, got new abilities. What else on here? There's an orb. Chain lightning. Charge.
Level 9. What we got here? What we gonna do? What we gonna add?
Then triangle. Okay. All right. Let's go.
Ground stomp. Yeah, let's do a ground stomp.
Let's go. Here's a question for y'all, since to be as topical as possible.
Mhm.
What is y'all's favorite magic system? I mean, like an anime or book, manga, TV, whatever. What's your favorite magic?
It's from an anime called Magi. I think they have one of the dopest setups for Magic I've ever seen in any medium.
Why is your favorite?
Cause within your ability, it's kind of limitless. You kind of deepen your understanding of how your power works, and then find ways to adapt it with other abilities.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the other mediums for Magic I've seen is like very one dimensional. You say a magic word, and then a piece of magic happens, as opposed to like harnessing, like like if your element is fire, figuring out like, oh, I can use it to make a flame, or I can just generate heat to give this free property to the sword that I'm holding.
Right. And I guess I'm opening it up a little bit more to not just magic in itself, but like one of the ones I like Hunter x Hunter, right? And it's
the power system.
Yeah, power system. Yeah, not just magic, power system in general.
Yeah, so you said magic. I was like, does alchemy count? Then I would have said Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah, Full Metal Alchemist. More of a power system than actually just magic. But
power system wise, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a cliche one, but I gotta go with Naruto. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like the concept of chakra and like the infinite ways that it's used. Like, granted, writing aside, but like just the versatility of it and how cool it is and how cool it looks. I enjoy the concept of chakra.
Which one? Which
Naruto.
Naruto. Oh, okay.
Because there's just like so many different types of ways you can utilize chakra within that show, and there's many different types of people within it.
Yeah, it's cool.
So I enjoy that. And
yeah,
it's probably the one that's like the most. It's like that's huge that I understand the best, I guess. Because in a lot of other shows, when they introduce like this really intricate magic system, like in Hunter x Hunter, I just don't get it. Like, or even like with fucking JJK. Like, I've had to watch that shit back a couple times, and I still I feel like there's a part of
I have too. What
energy that I don't understand how it works.
There is a whole episode, right, where Gojo was like teaching Yuji how it works and everything. Yeah, and I was like, what? I had to watch it multiple times. I was like, I'm still not quite sure I understand what's happening here. Yeah, so that's what you mean.
Because even like Gojo's ability in general, where it's like infinity and like all these like mathematical like equations that go into power. I'm like, bro, I just can't. It's a lot for me.
Wait till you see the second episode. In the second episode
exists within the space between two objects.
Right. He basically tries to break it down for somebody, right? And it's pretty much it's literally comical. Him trying to explain to somebody what's actually happening with his power, what he's actually doing, and they're like, "What?"
I'm a nerdy science nigga. I love science, and even me, I was like, "What the fuck? The infinite void of space between objects, and you can't get like that makes no like it makes
no sense."
Yeah, because I mean, it's part of physics. Because like you never technically actually touch something. You touch the electron cloud around it, essentially.
Yeah.
Essentially, his power plays on the fact that technically electrons don't exist. That it's like a measurement of time and space in that spot, and he can manipulate things so your space never collides with their space. That's
right.
Yeah.
I understand that concept, and I get it's more so just like the explanation. Like, I don't think it's explained in the best. Like, if you don't have like at least a basic knowledge of science, like explaining that to the layman is nuts.
Yeah.
Well, cause it's funny.
I'm not gonna lie and say it was explained well. It's a concept that I was already familiar with, so I picked up on it easily.
Right.
Yeah, the episode that kind of explains the best is when he's fighting that dude, that guy with the lava head. Mm-hmm. He's like, here, put your hand next to mine. Like, what? It's like that's what it's like. Yeah, it's like there is a infinite amount of space based off of atoms, and I'm just not allowing you to touch mine. So basically, I have extreme body armor on that things will never actually touch me with the weapon.
Right.
Or like the concept of domain expansions in general. I was like, I had to rewatch that episode like twice to kind of understand how they work and how they're used in battle per se. Because I get the idea of like you trapping somebody in your own domain, but then you have to fight them with their own domain to make that stronger. I was like, how the fuck? Why the fuck?
Yeah, it is a lot. It is dense, man. It is dense. I give you that all day. And that's why I like the one in Hunter x Hunter where they actually break it down. Because in Hunter x Hunter, it's not so much like it's absolute. It's like it's kind of like it's like a chess game. You can have different types of classes and use different types of things. My personal favorite
when it comes.
Well, I'll say my personal favorite is actually in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure because there's such wild, different kinds of abilities, and it's kind of because they're so bizarre and unique. It's balanced in its own right. But yeah, what were you gonna say, Otis?
I was gonna say like I feel like Nin is the most descript power that still makes sense. Like essentially, you have your region of Nin that you specialize, and if you practice your adaptation of it to something that suits you, that you can familiar with, browse yourself with, and can emulate. Your power will essentially do the work for you in creating that scenario happen, whatever it may be.
Yeah. It tracks. It does track. Yeah. But it's fun just also seeing. I'm sorry, what did you say?
No, go ahead. Finish your thought. I was about to change the whole subject.
No, it's just fun seeing the different writers and creators, artists over time. Because obviously, JJK was different. He mentioned he's clear. He's talking about how he was influenced by Naruto and FMA and other things that came out before. So it's fun seeing these different types of systems evolve over time. And obviously, Harry Potter was derived or influenced by like Lord of the Rings or stuff like that. So yeah, that's it.
Ooh, got legendary armor and a weapon. Oh, hell yeah, that's fire. Yeah, I was really about to say like I still gotta watch JoJo's. That first season ruined my want to watch the rest of the show.
The show isn't good until Stardust Crusaders. Like until Jotaro shows up, that show is unwatchable.
Well, here's the thing: it's a different type of show altogether. Once because the power system doesn't even show up until Stardust Crusaders. It's a very different thing.
The Spins don't appear until then.
Yeah, I know they had some kind of power system in that first season that you said.
Come on.
Come on.
Yeah.
I
don't know what they do.
Yeah, that shit, like, Speedwagon is probably my most hated character in I hate that nigga so much. The concept of you telling me what's happening while I'm watching it is what was so annoying to me, bro. I hated it so much.
Yeah, I see it.
I was like, nigga, I can see it. Shut up. Fuck.
That's a weird trope right there in anime in general, though. It happens in every single anime, right? Where there's characters fighting, there'll be some characters observing it, and they'll have to comment on what's actually happening. Like, let me break it down for you kids, what's actually happening on the screen. It's like, we don't need that. Stop.
Which, I mean, granted, I will say that makes sense in scenarios where, like, a bit like something like maybe like Dragon Ball is happening, where like niggas are at supersonic speed and you can't see them, and you think the battle one way, something like that I get. But the concept of Speedwagon being like, oh, he just punched him in the face. Oh, he's dying. You don't say, nigga. You don't say. Fuck. Like, my friends made me sit down and watch that shit when I went back home one year.
I wouldn't see. That's what they messed up. Though. I wouldn't start a person off at the first two seasons, even though I do have a fondness for the second season because I'm like what's his name, Joseph, because he's a charismatic asshole. I would just, if I had a friend, I would say, here, just watch season 3 and on.
Which I probably
Stardust Crusaders start there, and then go to Golden Wind.
Yeah, Golden Wind is
Diamond Unbreakable is also pretty solid. But Golden Wind and Stardust Crusaders, they just did it right there. They did it right.
I'm gonna check it out.
They're great.
I love the concept of stands and how cool that shit looks. That inspired me. I just gotta come back yet.
Yeah, just go back. Just start watching season 3.
Jotaro and Zero are the only main characters worth remembering. Well, I mean, Josuke is cool too. I'll give
I love Josuke. Josuke's great. Look, and also his power is very different than everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Now I will say the one I did kind of thought was cool was the delinquent JoJo, I guess, where this nigga was like smacking niggas in the face with guns or some shit like that.
Your boy Dio is one of the most I would say let's say this honestly, like Dio when it comes to anime villains, yeah, he was broken, but when it comes to like iconic anime villains, I would say probably the two most Black Air Force energy baddies in all of anime and manga are like with Dio and Frieza probably, right? Yeah.
I don't know if they put him over Majin Buu. I ain't gonna hold you.
Yeah, everyone does. Yeah,
Black Air Force activity where this nigga Buu just be pulling up like smacking niggas.
You don't see what Dio pettiness that Dio has.
Yeah, Dio is a horrible person. No idea that's like that.
It's like, yeah, you don't even know me, but I'm punishing you for what your great granddaddy did.
Yeah, that's pettiness.
He literally says that. He literally says that. I'm being petty because of what your ancestor did. Fuck off. Yeah.
What was that DMX song where this nigga was literally like, he's like, I'm walking out today. I see some niggas having fun, and I'm just gonna ruin a nigga's day or something like that. I'm just ruining a nigga's day just for the fun of it. And I was like,
that's him.
Fuck, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So I see niggas having fun. Fuck your
that
fun,
dude.
Nigga.
That dude.
All because he didn't like his daddy, so now he got to make everybody say bad.
Right, because Dio had a really bad dad. Yeah, must be up.
This shit is nuts.
Also, that same thing with like Frieza though. Like, why was Frieza so? I guess Frieza is just such a horrible elitist, pretentious pop.
He's literally just a racist, elitist dictator. That makes more sense.
Racist and xenophobe and everything else.
I want to know who's writing all the monkey bars and monkey lines. You know what she was doing. I don't know if it was Toriyama himself or who was doing that shit, but come on, bro. Like, he didn't have to say monkey that often. That was, you know what you was doing. You knew what you was doing.
Toriyama's a Tarantino of Japan.
See, even with Tarantino though, like he puts nigga in his films, but it usually like the niggas are the ones that are like dominating in the end. Frieza straight up he just straight up like bullied Vegeta. Like just straight up bullied that man. It was murdering entire planets, and even then, like whenever he comes back, he just bullies niggas. Like he just crushed Vegeta's whole spirit.
Because part of it is too is that Toriyama didn't like Vegeta.
Vegeta getting humbled too, because Vegeta get away with a lot.
Vegeta's evil. I still think Vegeta should still go to hell. Like he's an evil bitch still. Like you don't get a pass for committing genocide on multiple occasions, and just because you did one good thing right once, you get a pass. Like, do you remember? You guys remember
planet side? Planet. He blew up planet.
You remember en route to Earth during the Sand Saga where even Nappa stopped at that bug planet?
Yeah, of course. I was just saying
that planet still doesn't exist. They never wished that planet back with the Dragon Balls. So there's still a whole people that just got wiped out by Vegeta. He was just like, oh well. That nigga still has billions of like bodies on his hands still. I'm like, man, fuck Vegeta.
Yeah. I agree.
Didn't he give him did he go to heaven or some shit after the fact? I thought. Didn't he get
No, he went to hell. That's the whole point. Like, when I remember
he went to hell once, but I could have sworn he got a halo like during the Buu saga when he came back during the Buu fight.
Maybe I know that before. What's his face? The king sent him to, because people said to him, like, yeah, focus on his life being a good dude, help people out. You under the hand, Vegeta did not. He was just like, yeah. He just laughed like, yeah, fair enough. He blows himself up.
I'd be mad as fuck if I was anybody in that planet in the afterlife. Like, why does this nigga have a halo? This nigga murdered my auntie and my grandmom and me. What the fuck?
And me, yeah. I'm here too.
He ended my species.
He killed my dog.
My planet's gone. My planet is gone.
My race does not exist.
What's that shit from Dragon Ball Z Bridge? That nigga said, I turned the whole city into a glass floor. What do you got to
I mean, yeah.
It was
Like people talk about how reckless Omni-Man was like, yeah, he broke a city with his son's face, but like Vegeta got planted.
Right. Yeah, you can't top that.
They were talking about that at Dragon Ball Z Bridge, where like it was like him and Piccolo having a dick measuring contest. He's like, "Well, my dad freed every murderer on the planet on Earth." He's like, "Well, I turned a city into a glass floor." I was like, and he was like, "Oh, touche, touche."
The biggest thing was that Toriyama didn't like
Vegeta gets all the credit for everything that Perfect Cell did.
Yeah, literally, yeah. And I think half the shit that Perfect Cell did came from his genes. Like Vegeta's genetics. He was like, I want to fuck shit up.
Yeah. Perfect Cell, that dude.
Here this nigga go. What up, Negro?
What's up, my nigga?
How you doing, my brother?
What's up with you hijacking into these streams, my guy?
Just gonna watch, nigga. I'm like, oh shit, these niggas is live. Let me see what they doing. I didn't know he was gonna put me on.
Yeah, you in here, nigga?
You put him on, Charlie?
Yeah, put him on. I'm like,
Oh, is that my guy, E? Hey, bro, I've been talking about you, bro. I miss you, man.
What up,
I'm gonna have to pull up on you one time.
You're not that far away from you. Where you in Oakland, right? Where you at?
Yeah, close. I'm in Stockton right now.
Oh, right on. Okay.
Yeah, are y'all playing or are y'all watching?
We're playing.
Playing.
Okay.
Hey, Craig, do me a favor while you here. Look
Yes,
at the stream, like from a spectator point of view, and tell me how, like, if you can hear us clearly in the game.
All right, take me out. I'll look right now. Take me out.
Bet. Checking the levels.
Cameo from my boy Craig.
He here putting him to work for a second, just to help you out. I'm trying to find out what the sweet spot is for this audio whenever we do game streams to make sure that we can be heard.
Oh, is that what you brought him in to put on work?
I mean, that wasn't the initial thing, but I'm like, you here, nigga, do me a favor.
Like, well, might as well.
Right. Since you already here. Oh, man. But yeah, I'm excited for. I ain't gonna lie. I'm excited for Kick when we start doing shit on Kick, because if we can do things like watch parties and things like that, we can do a lot of that shit over there without having to worry about copyright stuff.
Right.
So we can do we talked about doing those music reactions with you, as far as you being out.
Oh yeah.
Put you into like albums that we think you would enjoy. We can do that shit over there and have you like react to a full album.
Yeah, I'm so out of date with most music. Yeah.
There's a lot of music I think you would enjoy that I want to put you onto.
And I just
want to see your reaction to.
Yeah, I mean, because most music now is like this. But because I'm gonna be teaching at school with 8th graders and stuff, I'm sure I'm gonna be hearing a whole bunch of stuff constantly.
We got somebody else watching live. Okay, bet. Appreciate it, Craig. If you want to hop back in, you can hop back in. I'll just have you test it out, make sure we can be heard right.
He's like, I'm at work.
I was pissed off at that stance for me and saying had a really good conversation, but half that shit couldn't be heard too well.
Really?
I was pissed.
Oh, from the last time y'all played on Diablo?
Yeah, me and him did a stream one of the Friday nights.
Oh, okay.
Which was only Thursday, so for anybody watching, tomorrow is the actual Friday night game stream. We kind of did this impromptu. We're gonna be doing Street Fighter. We're gonna be having our guys from BLM, Word Live Media.
Street Fighter for real.
Yeah, they're about to just bully us the whole time. It's about to be really bad. I'm just gonna be there for fun and solidarity and try my best not to die too fast. Because them niggas.
We're putting up the whole. Maybe we'll put that off off air then, but yeah.
Yeah, those. Like Nick already let it be known. Like, yeah, nigga, I'm coming for next. I'm like, bro, chill out, bro, chill. We not even there, like, we not at where you at, my boy. Chill out. Don't do it too dirty.
No, I'm pretty sure Nick gonna come in like, yeah, we gotta get these things. This film's nothing like it.
If this nigga Nick comes in here like juggles me for fucking 15 minutes straight, I'm gonna be really pissed.
Yeah, he does that kind of shit, man. That's cool. That dude.
So pissed.
Wait, what's his main game? Is it Tekken or which? This is bread and butter.
I think Tekken is his main thing. I think.
Right? I think it's Tekken. Hold on 1 second, y'all. I got a power. Let me use the ability.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's something like that too. Ooh. Let's see what it does. Let's see.
Shit.
Teleport?
What happened?
All right, I got teleportation now. I'm full blown Gojo for real. Does Craig have this game by any chance? Oh, he does.
You said what?
I'm not sure.
Craig, I got it. Craig, you got Diablo, Craig? Well, he ain't even asking. Then he was popping.
He's gone. He's out.
Which I think I'm gonna try to tap in with him tomorrow for a topic day we're having. I'm trying to do my rounds on all these other shows so I can promote this out at this point. That's why I've just been doing my rounds. I've been hopping on stream to stream.
That's it. Oh, this real quick then. So,
Bird Cartel shows too.
You said what?
You got me showing some of the Bird Cartel shows too.
Hey, if I get the invite, I'll show up. I will show up from the Reddit. I seen that trivia last night. I was like, ooh, I'm glad I went there for that, nigga. That's some new questions. I was like, ooh, boy.
I got me around. That's all I can ask for. One off of Dr. Stone season 1. Old face.
Dr. Stone season 1. That was still that. I still look like
catch up on that. I'm so behind.
It's just okay to me. It fell off drastically after the first season.
That's how I felt too. I love the first season. It was funny about it too. It's very much a non-battle battle manga, essentially, or anime. But once it goes into full-blown that war, it's like, what is this?
Because I'm watching it, and in my head, I'm like, how often can I watch this nigga make a microwave out of twigs and branches? Like, I don't know. Like, when is this gonna get old?
Interesting though. Interesting about that. Yeah. It's fun to watch people smart. That's the thing.
I'm like, this. I low key wouldn't like. I would want a scientist to make a channel like debunking or seeing if he can recreate shit from that show in actual real life. That'd be fire. Pursuit Lilith. Are we going the right way? No, I think we're going the wrong way. Hold on. Yeah, we're going the wrong way. So it's this way. My bad.
Oh yes, that way. Woo! That's clean.
Oh, I think pop back in. I didn't know he was gone.
Mm-hmm.
Back like it never left.
So you guys are going the wrong way. I don't know if you can see my ping.
Oh, that's the exit. Okay, I see.
Yeah, that's the exit I was following. Okay, I saw a big yellow crest, and I was like, "Ooh, this way."
That's right. Yeah, I thought for it too. But...
You know, always in dungeons, you go to where you haven't cleared.
Right.
So far, rocking with the barbarian, I think it's cool to be like to have the dual wield and the single wield at the same time.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I think you can get up to 7 weapons once you get them like fully maxed.
Oh,
yeah, so mine has 6 at least. You can actually have the dual wield, like as far as one in each hand. You have the actual a bludgeon weapon, like a hammer or something. You can also have a big sword, and then you can also have I think another.
I low-key should make this nigga Killer Bee, and it's like have 8 swords. That should be fire.
Killer Bee.
There you go.
Get on my katana shit. It's a bunch of them.
I feel like this mage is kind of broken. Like he's already OP.
What tier you playing? Are you playing in tier 2?
Yeah, tier 2.
Right. You clearing through tier 2 with it. Don't complain. Because when we get to tier 3 changes things. And now I'm scared of tier 4. Because I couldn't even beat the dungeon to get to tier 4 with my other guy.
How many tiers are there?
I think they started off with 4, and I think they're going to add one regularly. I don't know if it's tier 5 yet, but maybe one eventually.
I ain't gonna hold you, dude. My body is in pain. I started going to the gym again consistently, and I was like, ooh, that first day soreness is kicking my ass. Sheet.
That's the worst. You can barely move your arms, and I hate that.
Yeah, I did a pull day for the first day back on upper body, and I woke up the next day like, ooh.
How many exercises do you do before?
So normally I will do like 4 to 5. It kind of depends too, because like I'll have 4 to 5, but if I'm genuinely like weak that day, or if I feel like I shredded my body during one workout, I'm not gonna force it because I don't want to do any like. There's no point. Like if you feel all your muscles torn to the point to where it's like you can't complete a full rep or full set, I'm like, there's just no point. You're just done because you're just forcing it at that point. I feel like I'm gonna hurt myself. Plus, I'm like lifting for leaning out and for health anyway. At this point, anyway, I'm not lifting this to get hella strong anymore. Because I feel like there's like no point in forcing it that much.
That's the thing. I mean, obviously, most people go way too hard in the paint. They're not really properly working out anyway. So. Mm-hmm. The biggest mistake I made back in the day, I'm an old ass dude now. So it took me forever to realize that you don't actually lose fat in the gym. You lose fat in the kitchen when you build muscle.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Your permission is replacing it. Did you know you breathe fat out too? Like that's how you lose it. Like you breathe it out.
Oh, when it's turning into the biggest carbon dioxide or something.
You said what?
If it's turning into carbon dioxide or something, how you breathe
like,
out.
I gotta remember the exact science of it because I took a class on it. But like whenever you burn fat, it's excreted from your body through like your breath. I think it does maybe have a sense to do with carbon dioxide possibly, but I forgot how it works. Like you breathe it out whenever you.
I know they don't believe you, so I never heard that before. It's also interesting the idea. Think about a whole bunch of people running around the gym breathing fat on each other.
Like I can smell your cellulite.
Them thighs steak. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Let's go, Joe. Now. Let's go, Joe. Woo, buddy. So here's another question. I know we talk about Superman, obviously. Who is y'all's favorite OP character that is OP as hell that y'all actually like?
Kenpachi's Araki. At least for the time he was broken. So he's not as broken now, I feel like, but when he was introduced, when the nigga was just like broken, yeah, it was that nigga.
That's something they do.
The first fight that he was in, he lost.
Yeah, that's because the nigga like was literally holding himself back all the fucking time. Like if the nigga started the fight off at full strength, I don't think that fight will last too long. Like
yeah, I mean, Ichigo won that by plot completely, but he still won.
Yeah, he won, but the nigga was still broken.
Yeah, my bad.
Him, and I'd probably say one that it's been growing on me a lot more is Thorkel, I think, from Villain Saga. His name?
Oh, yeah.
Thorkel, like the big name. I think it's throwing like branches, like throwing a whole log.
Trunks. He's throwing tree trunks.
Yeah, that dude. He's too much. He's fun though. He's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I can't wait till next season of Villain to see him more.
Oh, he comes back again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. So you read the whole manga, or you're caught up on the manga?
Not the whole, all of it. I think it's still going, but I'm getting through it.
Right on. Okay. I'm reading Vagabond now. The other, they said the big three of the stamen.
Right now, I'm reading Juju primarily. And man, yeah, it's getting ready to end soon, but it's ending with a bang, man. It's like seriously.
So the writer already announced he's ending it soon?
Oh yeah, it'll be over before the year's out.
Well, how many more seasons do you think we can get out of the?
Like 3.
3?
Mm-hmm.
Not much at all, really.
Yeah, because I mean, this season is going to get a lot farther than I was expecting them to. Because I guess only the first half of it is going to be this Gojo backstory. The next half is about to fuck up a lot of people's heads.
That's when he gets trapped. Right?
This one, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that the second half is back to the present as far as like.
Yep.
After. Okay. Because I think you said one time too, like the next part of the season doesn't have Yuji in it at all, or something like that, or
yeah, this part, this backstory, Yuji's not in it at all. But okay, yeah, next one, yeah, he's center stage of that.
Okay, yeah, I love Yuji. But then also what I heard before too is actually the way it is that the first season's only like half of the first arc, really. That's not the whole first arc, anyways.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first arc ends at the end of this season, my guess.
Okay. It's awesome.
Oh my god.
What's fun about that show though is how like, because have we all seen the movie here, that JJK movie?
Mm-hmm. Zero.
Okay. So the lead in that is like, it's the exact opposite of Yuji in every possible way. It's almost like they said, Yuta, right? Mm-hmm. Like which main character is more likely to like get fans into the show?
It's the movie, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the true main character gets all the fans, and that's Gojo.
It's Gojo, yeah, but yeah. He's so broken. It's kind of like you want to get characters like kind of an avatar into the world. You need somebody else.
Gojo get all the hoes. Boy, that shit is nuts.
It's like, man. But in terms of setup and payoffs, man, I haven't seen a lot of battle manga do it better than what Juju's doing. That's all I'll say for that.
I'm not hearing that.
I dig it.
We're talking about how like there's. I think you've seen the first episode though. There's a part where like they pretty much are definitely leaning into the horror aspect of the show. And those are things that only come from the actual, as good as a manga might be, there obviously there's no music in there. The atmosphere is a little bit different related to animation. So they actually, for them to have that, when they adapted this, they made sure they leaned into creating a horror atmosphere, the music and everything, the sound effects.
The horror's coming back. Trust me there.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. Oh, as far as like the first episode with the sound.
Hold on.
You said what?
Right there.
What happened?
You probably got to run back to just drop off his equipment or something.
I have an ability, I have a power, I have a point to use or something. Okay.
Yeah, we were talking about like the sound cue of like how they had that disorienting music. I'd only really ever seen that in horror with the increasing volume of the disorienting music as the characters going through a monologue. So you're kind of like getting a point of view of like how this character like what their head sounds like. I guess like they're literally in their head. Like he's monologuing, but he has this constant dissonance going on with that sound. I'm like, this is fire. The production value in that and like the creativity and directing of that was fire.
Sound design is such a big part of obviously animation, but it's something that doesn't truly exist in manga. I know they have the sound effects they write out in words. I don't want to pee it, but it's different.
Sound design to me is like top 3 most important things in any kind of media. Period.
Yeah,
just because human beings, like as human beings, like audio is like it can affect us in so many different ways, and I think horror is a big part of that, like showing how like they'll have certain sounds that are like scientifically meant to make you feel uncomfortable in something like The Exorcist, and just how effective something like that was for multiple generations, even to today. Like audio can make something scarier more than the visual will.
Yeah, but that's what we're also taught that in film school, that you can have a movie with so hard visuals, or have it where it's a little hard to see like what's happening on the screen. You can't have a good movie where people have no idea what's being said, or the audio is bad and it's hurting their ears. It doesn't work that way.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, YouTube in general, you have hella YouTubers that have shitty cameras, but their audio is fucking spectacular. So niggas have a whole channel like that. As long as your shit sounds good, you're good.
Yeah. But you think it'd be the other way around, but no. That's really good. I was also thinking about this way too. Like some of the most fire trailers are the ones that have incredible music and have really cool. They edit on cue with the sound and everything. The movies are ass, but the trailers are amazing.
Plus, I think you remember audio a lot more than you usually like with something like like Miguel O'Hara's music from Beyond the Spider-Verse, like
of course,
or Across the Spider-Verse. Like it's iconic, and like if you hear that, you immediately know, like you think of that character, you think of that movie.
Yeah,
versus
that's the people don't understand.
Get it, but that picture, I don't like. I mean, you can argue the same thing for images, I guess. But,
I mean, leitmotifs in general, talking about themes and all that kind of leitmotifs are so overwhelmingly important when it comes to making those characters resonate or be iconic or all those things matter. I mean, you all probably haven't seen Indiana Jones movies as much as I have, but a vast majority of people, they hear like the first just 3 notes and don't know Indiana Jones' score. We hear like 1 note and they'll know Jaws being played. Like, these simple things, or they know the basic fundamentals of Star Wars theme. It's very real.
Yeah, that's one thing I love about Star Wars when John Williams composed compositions for Star Wars is like within his music he has plot things put in there, like as far as like certain character themes being like different versions of another character, like Rey's theme song in the new movie was like edited version of Palpatine's. So like if you're a music fanatic and you broke that down, you understand that plot even before the movie came out.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's wise. That's how you should do it. I didn't know about that. Yeah.
Or shit like I love when trailers or things use like the Devil's Tritone for like, so there's in music there is a 3-chord collection that it's so uncomfortable to the ear that like the Catholic Church banned it.
The brown note.
I can't remember the exact chord it was, but it's called the Devil's Tritone. And it's 3 notes when like they're put together, like it just makes the human body like uncomfortable. So the Catholic Church is like, it has to be the devil. It has to be.
It has to be the devil. What?
No.
Yeah, I'm dead.
You right? Oh, is that you over there?
My controller died.
Oh shit. He done for it.
Yeah.
Oh wait.
Man, I'm trying to save him around on my help.
I got the big one. I just have to take out a little.
Trying to get this guy alive.
Oh, one thing I also discovered, I guess this is free game for anybody watching YouTube videos. Putting categories on your videos is a big part of discoverability on YouTube as well. Like with this tonight, yeah. So like
gaming or something.
So when you put when you go to make your video, there's a thing called a category there where you're going to be like entertainment, film and animation, gaming, and that way it helps YouTube even further know who to promote your video to. So like tonight, I was able to put gaming, and then they let me put the exact game, and that's how I'm pretty sure that's how we got like the VPR dude that was in there earlier, like a random. So what?
Niching down in the color.
Yeah. So. That's what I realized. When it comes to YouTube, you want to make sure that your content is like you're making it as easy as possible for YouTube to understand what kind of content you make, so they can promote it right. Damn, I was trying to get this nigga up. Satoru, it's on you. You gotta clutch it.
Oh, y'all both down. My bad.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate that, Craig. That's the GOAT. Jermaine.
I'm about to die, y'all. You want to come back yet?
I'm back.
Oh, it's on you, man. I'm gonna die.
How do I revive at a checkpoint?
No, you can't.
Oh, never mind then.
It's I hate how slow I am starting off. When I started from the beginning, it's so atrocious.
Run, nigga, run. I'm gonna go get him. Hey, we back in action.
Yes, I'll throw him back. Okay, cool.
Back in black.
Wait.
You know, they made this mission significantly harder this time around.
Yeah. The Pit Lord. Why do I feel like it's like a gamer tag for like a old uncle that's the barbecue?
Because it is.
The Pit Lord.
They got that show on Netflix now. That it's like basically it's a barbecue off. Have you seen that one?
I would love to watch that. I ain't gonna hold you.
You can't watch it when you're hungry. Don't watch it when you're hungry at all. Make sure you had a nice big ass meal or watch it while you're eating something else. So that makes sense.
Hey.
Yeah, one and done, y'all. One and done.
Oh wait, nope, didn't want to do that.
Oh yeah, you died.
Almost
No, she's her mama's evil as hell.
Shut up! Shut the fuck up! Well, I need to get this legendary weapon on. Let's drop you so I can pick that up. No, fuck. Hold on. Let me come over here and drop it.
Where's the gear?
There we go. Come to Papa.
Oh, he's
I can't
pants.
even use it. I can't use the knife. Damn, never mind.
You can't use a knife?
I can't use it. No, I can't use it.
A knife.
I think it's
for me.
It's not available for my class. It's like a dagger.
Yeah, you use daggers, don't you, Otis?
Yeah. Daggers and swords.
Can I
And
give it to you?
Hey, yo, I got a powerful two-handed hammer. Yeah, right here.
Can I give you all the weapons when I drop them?
But can we do that? Can we exchange weapons in this game?
Yeah, if you drop it.
Here, I'll drop that
You
knife.
see right there, the powerful. Put it right down the ground there. You see that hammer?
Yeah, two-handed hammer. A two-handed power. Yeah. Okay,
That works. Is that
it's too low for me, but it's fine.
okay? It's okay.
But yeah, if you want this knife, you can have that knife. I don't know if you want it or not.
Ooh, much better. Yeah, the staff much better too.
Well, guys,
Wait.
I think that's a good spot to end the stream actually. 'Cause
Mhm.
we're at hour 30.
Yo,
Craig, thanks for being here. Tripstar
Craig.
VPR, thank you for joining the stream. Welcome. Hopefully you sub to the channel if you want more dope content like this. Again, we appreciate everybody for their support, and we hope for your continued support going forward. This has been the In and Out Podcast. C Diesel, Professor E, King of the Comics, and OG Big Blur, Lelouch V. We'll see you guys next time.
Peace. Hopefully next time I won't be carrying them as much. They can, help out more. I'm joking. It's team effort.